I want to understand that doctors see death so closely. Does it impact their mental health? Incidentally, you were in Kashmir when Operation Sindoor happened. What happened and how did you, in spite of all that was happening, you still managed to deliver your promise to Kashmir? Could you just throw some light on number of service projects that you have?
Yeah, I think, in fact, doctors are having an easy platform to do service. I always believe that.
Women healthcare has been really neglected in our country.
Certainly.
Which are the 3 tests that women in their 40s must definitely do? Do you strongly recommend digital detox today?
Absolutely.
What do you feel is happening in our society because of quick commerce?
I think everybody needs a little patience job on that.
Is there something happening to our brain because of that?
People don't have patience.
We are back with yet another interesting conversation with you, Dr. Kotbagi. Welcome to this show.
Pleasure to meet you again.
Quick commerce is making a lot of noise. There's a lot of news around quick commerce. As a doctor, what do you feel is happening in our society because of quick commerce?
I think we are expecting with more anxiety everything. I don't believe into, these pizzas in 20 minutes and any goods like Blinkit that in a spur of a second you should get it. I think everybody needs a little patience job on that. It's both ways. One who's actually booking it, his psychology is different, that he does not have the patience. The one who's delivering it, he, because of his earning or because of his perks, because of his penalties, is struggling hard. I don't think so. That pace we should, accept it today.
So is there something happening to our brain because of that?
Certainly. See, we always talked about meditative life in earlier years. These are the fundamental things which, actually they distract us. And people don't have patience. And for everything, there is a course of nature that you need a cycle of life. And a cycle of life is something which needs time. Everything needs time. I think our psychology should be like that. It should be framed that, to keep that mind in a settled position. And these e-commerce things are actually troubling them. That
Women healthcare has been really neglected in our country. What's your take on this?
I think some of the countries, including India, needs women as a equality in terms of expressing what is going on in her life, in her social life, in her physical life, in her medical life. So I feel that today even many societies, they feel a kind of a stigma when they talk about women's health. And it's very important that women is a very important element in the society. She is not only a woman, but she's a creator of this entire world. And I think she has to be open in terms of her health cares are concerned.
So these middle-aged women, they kind of have a lot of things to deal with. They have middle-age syndrome, they have families to manage, they have career to manage. And in all this, they somewhere neglect their health. I would like to ask, which are the 3 tests that women in their 40s must definitely do?
It's a good question. I strongly say that we should go into a more preventive care.
Okay.
Like again, I'm going to our traditions. We had a holistic approach in our country, if you see, or the past histories. So yoga, meditation, naturopathy, these are all holistic concepts. But today, for women health, I would suggest 3 fundamental things importantly. One is her cancer screening tests like a pap smear
Okay.
and a mammography.
Hmm.
Second is her diabetic profile.
Diabetic also?
Yes,
Okay.
there is a very huge amount of diabetes which is in the society today, and I think that is getting neglected day by day. So a diabetic profile, like a H1B1C, and how to control that complete diabetic aspect, that should be the second one. And third is the lipid profile. Lipid profile is nothing but, in simple words, the cholesterol monitoring and keeping it in a constant values. So lipid profile, diabetic, and cancer evaluation in terms of mammography and pap smear. I think these three things I will very uh, strongly advise for every woman.
I think diabetes and lipid profile, these two tests are very well associated with males, right? And now you're putting another dimension that
Right.
women should.
Absolutely.
So, have you seen any growing numbers in women where their cholesterols are, seeing a different kind of um, growth in terms of the health impacts that we are seeing? So, are you seeing that? And diabetes also?
Certainly.
Hmm.
A wrong myth which is always there is people think that who's obese gets cholesterol.
Yes.
So it's not at all applicable. Even a thin person, a fit person also may have a cholesterol. So cholesterol can be, hereditarily generated. Cholesterol can be hidden. Cholesterol can be with diet. Cholesterol can be with these, sedentary lifestyles, and that is something which actually leads to your most of the cardiac issues. So that is a very very important subject to deal. Second is about diabetes. I have seen that many women, they are always, having a lot of stress, and that stress is which they don't show it on their face. They don't unleash in discussion and conversation, and this also leads to diabetes. One of the factor. So I think these two tests also very very important for her good health.
Yeah, and especially when India has become a diabetes capital, and there are so many pre-diabetic cases already
True, true,
seen in the country.
absolutely.
Mm. Apart from that, if we look at women today, I've also seen that we used to have a lot of domestic violence cases happening in the lower strata of the society. Now, there is a lot of news that we are, coming across where domestic violence or violence with the daughter-in-laws is happening at the upper middle class and the HNIs also. So, what's your take on this? Why is this happening, and how can we prevent it?
It's a good question, and I think thanks to the media that these cases are coming up well. Let me be very frank. It has nothing to do with the class. Violence is a violence. And what we see today, again, it's a socio-economic impact. Traditionally, especially our own country, always believed that once a woman or a girl gets married, then the responsibility of hers is into a new family. And I think that thought process should completely go off. Every mother of a woman or a girl should tell her that if you are not treated well in any of the families, even after your marriage, you should be the first one to come and discuss this very openly. And I also urge the society that today, if a girl comes back after the marriage back to her family, society should never ever think that there is something wrong, because she is not going to allow herself to suffer in these families. And I think there should not be any exception. Domestic violence should not be tolerated at all. My only concept is, why don't women and girls tell this at the early time? Why that tolerance is there? We read so many cases. We listen to so many recent cases.
How?
The in-laws are hitting the girl, daughter-in-law. They are abusing her, sexual abuse. Uh, I have also heard that in the cigarette butts they are putting up in the bag, they're hitting with the belt. So I think we are treating worse than the animals. But then she keeps on thinking that one day will be a day that they will improve. Tomorrow's future will be better. It does not happen that way. A psychology of these people who don't, consider that girl as on an equality platform or as their family platform, whether they do small or big, it is not going to change. So earlier venting out that thought, I think that will be the best prevention.
राइट एंड जो आजकल थोड़ा हमारा सोसाइटी में भी द एंटायर सोसाइटी हैज बिकम इनसेंसिटिव, ये क्यों हो रहा है? इज इट बिकॉज ऑफ नॉट शेयरिंग थिंग्स विद ईच अदर? हम लोग सिक्लूडेड लाइफ जी रहे हैं, मोबाइल सेंट्रिक लाइफ जी रहे हैं, इज इट बिकॉज ऑफ दैट?
See, in our own homes also, हम जब बच्चे थे, स्कूल में जाते थे, तब 4 रूम का घर था, पर वहाँ पे हम लोग 12 लोग रहते थे।
हाँ, बिल्कुल।
अभी 12 रूम का का घर हो गया, हम 4 जन रहते हैं। Now that concept of, we has come down to I. Whether it's a sharing concept, whether it's talking concept, whether it's a playing concept. So I think we are coming up with more and more nuclear family concept. And whenever these things happens, then we keep on thinking more and more. I think to live a world among several others, I think that is a learning exercise. And that will come out of that. एक ही आदमी घर में बैठ जाता है, 4 घंटा टीवी देखता है,
हाँ।
अपना ही मोबाइल में 8 घंटा देखता है. I see even the young children, they go to hotels. If you see a one table, a round table, 5 youngsters are sitting, they'll hardly exchange 10 words here and there, but everybody's on the mobile. So a digital conversation has become more dearer to them than the real conversation.
Real
So
conversation.
I think that's a threat. That is a very, very psychologically a very bad threat.
तो हमारी कंट्री के लिए जो जेन ज़ी है, जो ये नया माहौल देख रहे हैं, जो हम अपनी सोसाइटी में, वेयर सेंस ऑफ अलोफनेस इज़ हाई, आप शेयरिंग नहीं है, तो ये कैसी कंट्री हम बना रहे हैं?
Actually, this issue is not only the country centric. This is a global problem which is going on.
ओके,
If you see even the Asian countries, right from China, Japan, you'll find most of these countries have suffered from these problems earlier. So actually, we should pick up those notes from there.
ओके,
In fact, our country always believed into a joint family. Our country always believed that sharing concept. Our country always believed that that it's like a Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Whole world is my own family. And I think these things are now coming back. So to be little time away from that digitalization, then to have the conversation, to have someone very close friend or a relative or someone who is like, I always call it like your own, a very, very close-knit partner, where you can talk, discuss and get a different view. I think that will change. That will change. एक सीखना है हमको कि जो हमको अच्छा लगता है वो दूसरों को लगता है कि नहीं लगता है. Because my perspective for me is always good. But same perspective for others, how it is going to count. And I think that, listening ear has to be developed today. And that's very, very important subject.
आई एग्री। सो as a doctor and as someone who has held such important roles in the Rotary Act, I would like to ask, do you strongly recommend digital detox today?
Absolutely. You
And
have
how
to
much
balance.
should be the duration?
See, there is a screen timer is there in every mobile phones or iPads and all that. So you can actually set up your timings, how much screen time you want.
Okay.
The most common, the psychologists which they are saying today, before you sleep 60 minutes, you should be away from your digital screens. Maybe that leads to your thought process. Maybe that screen brightness troubles you. Maybe your peaceful sleep gets disturbed to that. So 60 minutes prior to your sleep time, you should be completely away from your digital asset. Second thing, when you get up in the morning, that's the time when you're actually the most, your mind is fresh.
Yes.
The neurons are charged. I think when you get up in the morning also, again in that first 60 minutes, you should not go into that. You should go into how to plan your day. You should go into what is a new creation I'm going to do on that day. What is something which I have not answered or completed my work, which I was thinking of dreaming. I think that 60 minutes also, when you get up in the morning, you should not do it. But what I see today, till you sleep, last second, you're on a gazette. The moment you are in the morning, you get up, you want to see who has messaged you. I think we are in that cycle. So you have to come out of that.
Are there any best practices that we need to follow if someone is not able to kind of get rid of this kind of compulsive disorder? तो ऐसा कोई थेरेपीज हैं या ऐसे कोई मेडिसिन्स हैं which can help?
See, something which your own mind sets up, that's the best therapy. But of course, there are lots of therapies. One of the best therapies is meditation and yoga therapy.
Okay.
Because why I'm insisting on yoga is you controlling your breath, that leads to your meditative mind, concentration ability. छोटे छोटे चीजें होती है. देखो 20 years back on television there was a दूरदर्शन channel.
हाँ, बिल्कुल.
तो हम लोग 4 प्रोग्राम देखते थे in 1 week, maybe like a छाया गीत और maybe फूल खिले गुलशन गुलशन और सप्ताह की.
हाँ.
एक चैनल था, ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट था, but we used to concentrate that 30 minutes and go on.
हाँ.
Now you have 100 channels, क्या कर रहे हैं हम लोग? We are catching up a remote, constantly we are just changing the channels and then we are realizing 6 घंटे में हमने 30 मिनट का भी कोई concrete focused program देखा ही नहीं है. We are spending a lot of time either listening to advertisements or second, in the hope that something new will come up on a new channel. And then we are not realizing that our precious time, you already lost it. So, you have to discipline yourself in, how much hours are we going to, get hooked up to this kind of technology. Even now, artificial intelligence, which is coming up today. I feel that artificial intelligence is good in terms of data management. But today, AI will also make you non-thinkers.
I completely agree. Because the moment you go on ChatGPT and you start putting some prompts, and then it will just start feeding you information, and then in that sea of information, you absolutely get lost, and if you start, realizing that you spend so much time on that platform without actually doing something very concrete. And I feel that youngsters are getting so hooked to all these platforms without realizing that originality is completely lost.
True. I agree. And the worst thing is, they're also losing the power to express through the words.
Absolutely.
I'm not in coming कि हम लोग पहले खत लिखते थे और वो खत जाता था पोस्ट ऑफिस में, फिर वो खत आता था. I can even understand कि now they want to write an email or maybe they want to write it through one of the apps like Insta or Facebook and tweets and all. But are you writing your own thoughts?
नहीं,
Or
बिल्कुल नहीं.
through AI you're trying to copy paste your thoughts and putting up here? Because this process will actually create you a disabled mind. And that you won't realize now. It's a slow process. आज तुमको अच्छा लगेगा कि 4 words अच्छे अच्छे मिल रहे हैं, but slowly you will understand that your ability to think, write, pen down and express, that will perish. And that will be irrevocable loss forever.
Absolutely. डॉक, आपको पता है, आई रिसीव सो मेनी मेल्स. जैसे हम लोग हायर भी कर रहे हैं, तो हायर करते हैं स्टूडेंट्स को, तो उधर से कुछ मेल्स आते हैं. तो जब वो मेल्स आते हैं, वो चैट जीपीटी मेल्स होते हैं, एंड and then when now it becomes difficult for you to kind of shortlist on the mails or the resume that you get. तो फिर जब वो बच्चे आते हैं और जब हम उनके साथ कॉन्वर्सेशन करते हैं, इतना डिस्कनेक्ट लगता है, एंड वो ज़्यादा डैमेजिंग है. क्योंकि एटलीस्ट आपको पता है कि उस बंदे ने पहले जो मेल भेजा था वो अपनी ओरिजिनलिटी से भेजा. यू हैव सर्टेन काइंड ऑफ अ प्राइम्ड ब्रेन. अभी इस लेवल पे कॉन्वर्सेशन भेजा गया है, एंड देन द परफॉर्मेंस इज एट दिस लेवल, and then you lose trust.
Absolutely.
As someone who's hiring a lot of youngsters, so there is absolute disbelief in this generation. So what's your message to the youngsters?
Old golden message, we used to always say seeing is believing. So now we have to come back and say that reading is not believing. What you read, it may not be the truth. Or it may not be the real intellectual writing from that person.
Absolutely.
So you should have a conversation and you should have group discussions and you should see and meet that person. This is the only solution.
And youngsters को क्या करना चाहिए?
No, that's why I'm repeatedly saying that maybe even you may make a mistake. Maybe you may not express to the right word today. That doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
See, what matters today is your authenticity, your genuineness, and your a thought process that you want to do something good in life.
Right. Absolutely.
So people are willing to accept the way you are, but people are not willing to accept if at all you are a cosmetic. People are not willing to accept you with your copy paste kind of a nature. They want something of your originality.
Absolutely. We are not robots,
We
right?
are not robots. We are not robots.
Okay. So, Doc, I would like to also understand your service projects? Because you've done so many, you've initiated, spearheaded many service projects because of your intrinsic nature that you have to help and serve. Even though, it's very unlike doctors का इतना बिजी स्केड्यूल होता है, उस बिजी स्केड्यूल में टाइम निकालना और कंट्री को सर्व करना या ग्लोबली इश्यूज को हैंडल करना और सर्व करना. Could you just throw some light on number of service projects that you have managed?
Yeah, I think, in fact, doctors are having an easy platform to do service. I always believe that. Because every day they go to hospitals, clinics, and they see so many people with problems. But I have a great belief, and I think, again, our culture, in our Indian culture, we always believe that service is the path of spiritualism. That why we serve.
Yeah,
So there are two benefits. One is we serve because someone gets benefit.
absolutely.
And second, when you serve, you yourself feels happy. So it's, both ways the happiness can, get multiplication. We have done lot of service projects, and few of them which I like to say is, I did around about 700 polio corrective surgeries.
700.
Yeah.
Quite.
So
quite a
the
big
children
number.
who are not able to walk, the children who are, always constantly depending even to go to a washroom or even to go to school or even to a bicycle. We wanted to see that, they stand on their own feet, their own limbs, they work properly. So that was something which was a very, very satisfying project. Thanks to Rotary International for, launching the polio eradication program worldwide. And I think globally they deserve a great compliment, that the success story of not making such dependent children and making every child able, I think that great credit goes to Rotary International, and we worked on that on a very larger platform. Second is, I in society I always see what are the main issues which are recurrent. So one of them also was the congenital heart disease.
Okay.
So congenital heart disease is something a small child, through his birth, they come with some of the heart problems.
Okay.
And to repair that issue, there is a big challenge, because one child's cost for a congenital heart surgery is nothing less than 5 to 7 lakh rupees.
It's quite a bit.
It's a quite a bit for a family, a lower middle class family, to give a treatment to those children. And I always said that the color of the blood in every child
The same.
is same, whether it's African child, whether it's a child from any other country, or whether child from India. And every child, like the quote says, a child is a legitimate child. So when we say that every child should get, the right to breathe a good oxygen. So my mission was, I'm going to convert every child from blue to pink, because when a child cannot breathe properly, he is a blackish bluish. So we want to allow him to breathe properly and make him pink child, the way you see children. So this is a program which we launched, Little Heart program. And through that program, we have been doing wonders. We get children from many countries. We also get many children from different states of India. And 100% free of cost, we operate these children for congenital heart disease and give them a very, very beautiful life. So it's a very heart touching when I see a child who comes with a heart problem, and the child sits on a school ground looking at all other children playing soccer or running, and he cannot run because he cannot breathe. And after we operate, the same child goes and participates in those group games, and he becomes a normal child. So that was second program which we did. As on today, more than 5,000 children we have given free of cost these congenital heart surgeries.
Wow.
And third, again in the healthcare, my dearest project is giving free dialysis and making dialysis centers across many states. And that is also one of the reasons we have a major renal failure problem. We talked about diabetes.
Yeah.
Again, diabetes also leads to kidney failure.
Yes. These are linked problems.
Link problems. The people who don't get kidneys so faster because it's not very easy. Even if they get, then the kidneys do not become compatible. And till all this process is happening, they need a hemodialysis. So 2 bar dialysis every week, 8 dialysis in a month. The cost is phenomenally high. A normal family cannot afford.
Important.
We have been doing, in each center we are doing more than 25,000 to 30,000 dialysis every year. So today, I can very proudly say that more than 3 lakh free dialysis every year. We're doing it for all poor patients.
Wow.
So thanks to generous people uh, like you and all those who are listening to this podcast. But they are the people who are trying to help us. They are the people who are trying to motivate us to do something to the society.
3 lakh. And what is the cost of one dialysis?
On an average today, one dialysis costs nothing less than 2.5 to 3,000 rupees for one dialysis.
Imagine.
So you can imagine what the cost is. And he has to take 8 dialysis every month.
Oh. It's quite a bit.
It's
right?
quite a bit.
And this is the impact that you're creating, right?
That's it.
It's phenomenal. If we start calculating the amount and the impact that you're creating, it's in crores.
That's right.
And this is the beauty of service. When you leave your comfort and when you start serving, and that's how you create an impact. And such incredible stories. I don't, if I start listing, we'll fall short of time. I also remember that you've been incredibly creating waves in Kashmir with your Mission Kashmir project. And incidentally, you were in Kashmir when Operation Sindoor happened. So just share what happened and how did you, in spite of all that was happening, you still managed to deliver your promise to Kashmir.
See, first of all, let me pick up your same words. You said you leave comfort to serve.
Yes.
Actually, you become more comfortable after you serve. So Kashmir was also one of the programs. Out of many, we have a program called Service Beyond Borders.
Okay.
So I told you that, people should never think that they should only work in their own religion. People should never think that they should only work in their own city or in their own state, and sometimes even in their only in their own country. People are people. Those who are suffering, those who are poor, we should be able to serve them. Mission Kashmir is also a similar program where we take team of doctors of different specialities, whether maybe an oncosurgeon, maybe a gynecologist, maybe a general surgeon, a plastic surgeon, a laparoscopic surgeon. So we make a group of all these doctors. The way you all people go for holidays, we all doctors and all volunteers, we meet together and we say, let's go and do a holiday to serve. And this is the way this program came up. Incidentally, when this Operation Sindoor issue happened, we all were in 3 different parts of Kashmir.
Okay.
In a place called Kishtwar, in Badrawar, and even in very close to Anantnag, where this Pahalgam district.
Yes.
Pahalgam is
Absolutely.
a part of Anantnag district. And I still remember, we were doing a lot of medical camps, gave a cure to more than around 1,000 Kashmiris in 8 days of time.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, Kashmiri people are also, they need, they need kind of a support from various angles, whether it's a literacy, whether it's a healthcare, whether it's, socio-economic principle. And whenever I was talking to all of them, they were feeling very happy. They said, Kashmir is changing. Because the tourism, almost 2 million tourism picked up in last 2 years of time, thanks to our current government. And they were happy because they were happy that they're earning their own money. And the pride to earn your own money is different than getting just a donation and living on someone's money. So they were settling it. And every day we were operating. On my last day, I was traveling from one place through the Central Top. So Central Top is one of the, the pass which connects the Pahalgam, Anantnag to Kishtwar. And that road was closed. In fact, one day, a lot of rains were there. The other road of Jammu to Srinagar was also closed. So I chose the path from going from, Sintal Pass. And the army said, Sintal Pass is closed, sir. Today you cannot travel. Come tomorrow morning. So next day morning, I was traveling from there. And suddenly I get a SMS because you don't get a good network there. So just one SMS popped up in my phone. So I was looking at that message and my daughter messaged me, where are you and how are you? And I didn't find that message to be very normal because she never sends that kind of a message. So I said, I'm good, and what happened? And then she said, do you know what happened? Where are you? I said, I am at Anandnag. And she said, right now, just 20 minutes back, there was this mishap in Pelgam. I was about to go and stay in Pelgam. And we turned our cars and I said, let's not go to Pelgam and come to Srinagar. But it was a very unfortunate thing, whatever happened. This episode is nothing but a coward episode. Episode against civilians, and of course, the episode against our national rest, and more important, the episode which tried to destroy the economy and peace in Kashmir. And even the Kashmiris did not like it.
Hmm. So, did you interact with any Kashmiris? What was their reaction? Because obviously they were like in a state of shock.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, any first-hand?
Oh, yes, I saw a lot of boards, when I reached after 1.5 hours to Srinagar, and there were a lot of boards, people were writing and scribbling. And that Lal Chowk, we went there where the agitation was going on, and everyone took a board, and that board, gave a very nice message. And they said, we don't want terrorism, but we want tourism. And we don't want, this kind of unrest in Kashmir, and we don't at all uh, completely, appreciate what has happened. And they were feeling very sad. Some of the Kashmiris, they said, sir, our tourism and our economy was building so well that last 3 months, because now tourism is picking up, we invested a lot of money in the goods for business.
I'm sure.
We took some small loans from bank loans, and now we are scared because next 30 days, 50 days, people have cancelled all the bookings, and we don't know what is going to happen, and we are coming back to the olden time. So they were not happy, and in spite of who did it, what religion did it, whether Pakistan did it, and the terrorism group of Pakistan did it, they were not at all, happy with that kind of thing, and they said we don't want it in our region.
Absolutely. Because we had a recent conversation with the one army veteran. He was also saying that the things have changed. People have experienced happiness.
Absolutely.
So at the core, as we were discussing also, service leads to spirituality, and same, if you experience happiness and joy, so your path uh, towards leading your life, more fulfilled life
Yep.
is achieved.
Yep.
And I think in last 4 years, Kashmir was experiencing that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a word called Jannat. They always say, ki we want to experience Jannat. But today, Kashmiris said, our Jannat is a peaceful Kashmir. We don't want this kind of thing. We want that beautiful Kashmir where, we can have the fragrance of palms, we can listen to the streams of, water coming back from the snows. And we want that poetic Kashmir. And they were enjoying that. They were roaming around. Children were going into schools. Women were dressing in a beautiful Kashmiri attire and were going and doing, all their routine work. And suddenly then again this happens and they get disturbed.
Absolutely. What is your next plan in terms of serving bigger, serving better? If you could throw some light on that.
See, as a doctor, I get opportunities to work on many healthcare aspects. But there is also one more parallel program which we have been, running, especially in India, because I'm not only a proud Indian, but I always feel that today progressive India needs 100% literate India.
Okay.
And that is what me and my all very dear colleagues, they have been trying to work on that. So how to create 100% literate India? And I think this is a challenge. And one of the aspect in that is we need women literate in India. Okay, we don't have 100% literate women. And I believe that if woman in the family is made literate, she makes her children literate. The children feel good about what the importance of literacy. And second is the adult literate. In India, we have two major problems: is the adult illiteracy and the women illiteracy. And I urge everybody, whether you're a youngster, whether you're a college student, whether you're a retired person, if at all you could contribute to make our India 100% literate, I think the future for India is great. Like we used to say in ancient, the India was the most superpower. And I can see that India is also now today on the verge of becoming again a superpower. But I think this is one aspect, and I think we all need to work together.
I'm sure we will do that because if we could move pretty fast in tech space or AI space, or for that matter, the kind of startups that are emerging in the country where they're trying to solve certain problems, I'm sure your dream of seeing India 100% retreat will surely happen, and we'll see that emerging trend, converting and actually taking our country to a different level.
Absolutely.
One message that you have for a young Indian today?
Young Indian is a very smart. Young Indian is a very creator. In fact, what I cannot walk so fast, they can just do leap bounding in 2 steps. But few things for young Indians. One is there is nothing like a fast money. Always believe that there should be equality in a man and woman.
Okay.
And third is reach one and teach one. The way you are literate, the way you got the privileges, let someone else who is not getting that, you try to teach them. Functional literacy or any kind of education which can they get some income, and through that income sources they get a pride to live.
Any regret that you have in life?
Humans should have 200 years of life. Only one regret, I always feel that I should have gone into armed forces to serve my nation, and at the right age, although that opportunity was there, but I came from that line to the medical line. So sometimes I feel that there is a regret on that. But doesn't matter. You go to armed forces and serve nation, and you come here and also you serve people of your nation.
It's the same.
Almost.
Any fear that you have in your life?
Fair?
Fear.
Very, very difficult to put it into one or two words on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Normally this is a common myth that doctors have a harder steel. They don't have fears. Is it
No,
true?
no. I think doctors are also humans, and they also become emotional when they're alone. But many times they have to be strong because you know, the entire profession is that way. So, uh, see, they are the ones who go to a workplace where everyone comes with a problem. Who goes to a doctor with a pleasure? So every day and night, 24/7, anyone comes to a doctor, he only talks about his problems. And when the doctor goes home, he has to forget those problems and enjoy the pleasures of the family. So I think it's a very, very, a different kind of a life for a doctor every day and night. And but they are humans. They are same like everybody. There's nothing like a different species.
I want to understand that doctors see death so closely. Does it impact their mental health?
I think most of them they get immune to that.
Okay.
But specifically when they feel that the death was without a treatment, or they see a death at an early age, then they certainly feel sad about it. And without a treatment means, I always say, in metros and good cities we still have a lot of facilities. But when you see a death because there was no facility for a person who could have been easily saved with small infrastructure, with small quantum of medicines, with small kind of a volunteerism, which we could not give it, and that person lost his life, you certainly feel sad about it. Or you see a death because of non-discipline of a traffic, and then you see a death due to a traffic road accident, then you feel sad about it. That for some, like a drunk and driving, someone has killed someone. It's a sorrow story. That person who is dead has lost one of the most beautiful life, and without his mistake. So just because someone was indisciplined, a good soul lost his life. And when you see such stories, then you feel sad about it.
How does a doctor come out of it? because they have to perform every single day and they can't have their emotions attached to any such situations. I understand they're humans, they're not immune, even though they get immune and used to this, but at the end of the day, they have to perform. So, what is the formula? What's the magic formula? Because all of us would like to learn from this.
See, doctors are also, very, very creative in that. We used to have, earlier, we used to always have these cultural centers in every medical college or cultural centers in the medical schools and all.
Okay.
So, one of the reason was, you should be passionate to your hobbies. You should be passionate to something which can cut you off from that day-to-day life of medicine and life and death.
Okay.
For me, I like all adventures, and I always believe that if you go into adventure sports, then your risk-taking ability increases. For every adventure, you need to take a risk. So sometimes on a motorcycle bike, sometimes on a car rally, sometimes flying, sometimes sailing in the ocean. I get that adrenaline charge. I get cut off from that sad, bad, negative stories of life. And then I come back with that adrenaline josh. I feel that let me adopt that risk taking ability into my work, into my risk taking ability of making better future tomorrow. But these hobbies, they disconnect me from sad and they connect me that, life is even beautiful that other side. And I'm sure so many people are there who are musicians, who are artists, who are, good singers, or who are good script writers, who are good storytellers. Keep on doing it because your profession is one. And man does not get identified with your profession.
Absolutely.
Actually, he gets more identified with his inner mind. And I think that inner mind has to be unleashed more.
So, doctors are thought to be very scientific and very rational. I see another side of your story, which is very spiritual side of you. Who inspired you?
It's an old saying. We always say, हिंदी में हम कहते हैं कि मुझे बुलावा है.
हाँ, बिल्कुल.
और काफ़ी लोग ये कंसेप्ट को बिलीव करते हैं. Like you go to Tirupati Balaji and then you say, somehow I came to Tirupati Balaji, or somehow I came to Ganges, somehow I went to the Himalayan tops. Who calls you? Why they call you? We never know about it. And I have experienced that whenever you get such opportunities, try to tap them. There can be people who are your inspirational people, but I think the best man to inspire you is you within yourself. Ask yourself why you came in this life. Ask yourself, do I owe to society? Do I owe to my parents? Do I owe to my neighbor? Do I owe to my city where I was born? हम कुछ कर सकते हैं क्या? जो चीज़ हमें ज़िंदगी में मिली है, जिसमें हमें खुशी मिली है, वो खुशी हम किसी को दे सकते हैं क्या? And that's why I liked one, शायर's lining. It says कि ख्वाहिशों का काफिला अक्सर वहीं से गुजरता है, जहाँ कोई रास्ता ही नहीं होता है. Dream big. See those dreams getting accomplished in those who have need, and then you will see such a beautiful life everywhere.
Thank you so much, Doc. It was incredible conversation. हमने काफ़ी कुछ डिस्कस किया. All straight coming from your heart. Thank you so much for this incredible conversation.
Thank you. Pleasure to meet you. And just हम सपनों के सौदागर हैं. Live a beautiful life. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.